Hi guys, I hope that everybody's doing well. Before we get into the reading, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. I do keep seeing the Three of Cups. Maybe somebody that you're meeting up with, somebody that you're bumping into. It looks like there's an element of playfulness between you and this person, or at least there had been in the past. Starting off with the King of Wands. King of Wands and Temperance. This feels like very strategically planning out the moves that you're making. Being very, very patient and wise with what you're doing, so as not to move forward too quickly. Because the King of Wands knows when to wait and when it's not time to take action, just as much as when to take action and when to move forward with something. So it's very much about reading the room, reading the situation, and figuring out, like, when is a good time for me to be initiating things? When is it time for me to pull back and not really make a move here? And understanding that both of these things are just as important as the other one, each one of them. Two sides of the same coin. This may have to do with a relationship, a connection that you have with someone, even with something. Yeah, you may very, very slowly be taking your time in a connection with someone. As I said before, when we're in the energy of the King of Wands, it's about understanding, especially if this is connected with another person, like when it is appropriate to do what. Rather than rushing forward, it's about really thinking, is this the time and the place? Like, what's going on with this person? Where are they? Are they receptive to what I'm doing? Are they on the same page as I am? So communication, feeling things out, it's very, very important. Especially to have Temperance here. You may want to move faster with something, and it may not be time yet to do that. Because I'm seeing the focus be on the Ace of Cups. So it's not just about your desire system and like how you want to push forward. This is about your connection with the other person and understanding how important that is to establish and nurture the balance that is suspended between the two of you. Because it's not just a one-sided thing. And you don't want to come off as aggressive either. Because when the King of Wands is in its shadow, it can come off as being like pushy, aggressive, not being receptive to the other person and what's going on with them. So it's important to keep that in mind. It's very easy. It's a very fine line. I'm looking at Sagittarius, also Aquarius. Maybe somebody that you're connecting with. Yeah, this is a big focus on, it's a big focus on healing through connection, healing through love. Some of you may be connecting with nature also, or even feeling, I mean, as humans are also part of nature, you may feel like your connection with this person kind of brings you back to, like, even connecting with nature in a way. Bringing you back to your roots is what I'm hearing. Something about this feels very precious. I'm seeing too that there's a lot of clarity in what you're feeling and what you're sensing too. Sometimes as well, when we push forward with something where it's like solely based on what we're feeling and it's not so much of a collaboration, it kind of gets muddled energetically, like what's going on with the other person on the other side of this. And so by you really taking your time and being very conscientious and deliberate with how you're taking action and very patient to allow the connection to grow, you are making space for this to turn into what it's meant to be turning into, which means that you are giving it room to really grow into its potential here. See where things can go. I am seeing something that feels very, very special with this star here. It seems like this has also been an important process for you to be able to see things how they really are. So you being honest with yourself has also been an important leg of this journey too. Because sometimes too, the things that we want can sway our perception, and so it's harder to see what's actually going on. Within this process too, there may have also been some changes that you made to walk away from certain things that you realized were not going to give you what you wanted. It could have been like habits, could have been certain patterns that you recognize that you were doing that may have felt very short-lived or even connected with instant gratification, but then connected with like the longer perspective of things. You could have realized that you weren't going to find what you were looking for, and so you wanted to more so invest. In the long term for yourself. Okay, so I am seeing a decision that needs to be made on your part. I'm feeling heat in the back of my head. There's a change that is associated with this, or even a transition that would be associated with this. Could have even been something that you had a hard time seeing initially. Okay. We have the Two of Swords in the World. This looks like it's going to be a big decision. It feels even like it's going to indicate which chapter you're going to be opening next. It seems also that this is something that's taken some time. It's not, it may have not been able to, for some reason, this may have not been like a quick decision that could be made. It was something that needed to be figured out, something that needed to be sorted out. Felt out, even, with Temperance. Okay, so recognizing there's a decision to make. This kind of leading, it kind of feels like, you know when you're watching an episode and it leaves you on a cliffhanger? I kind of feel like that energy here. Within the cycle, you may have felt that. Like, we can't really continue on, and I don't really know what choice to make yet, and I don't know where this is going to lead, but I know it's going to be leading to, like, the next episode, the next chapter, whatever you want to call it. But something was still undecided when there was kind of like a pause. This thing would be the segue into the next chapter. So an answer would be found or even concluded, opening up into the next chapter, this next segment of the journey. And I'm seeing you try to figure out, you're trying to figure out how to maneuver through something. And I am seeing an ending that's connected with this. And remember, like, an ending can be so many things. The focus on the Ten of Swords is that something that needs to come to an end is ending, or things that need to come to an end are ending. And it seems even like you're seeing this clearly now. Like, am I doing something that needs to come to an end? Do I have habits that I'm participating in that are not conducive to my journey? To me feeling like I'm showing up in the best way that I can be? Am I blocking myself from my potential in some way? It seems too like because of how in touch you're becoming with yourself and because of you really feeling the strength of that connection that you have, it now becomes easier to see what is meant to fall away and what you're meant to continue doing. So there's a lot of clarity that you have now. That you may have even felt was missing before, or that you may have been having a hard time grabbing onto. Okay. Whatever ending this is, I'm seeing that you are going to complete this. I'm hearing flying colors. You're coming out on the other side of this no problem, even though it may be difficult while you're in the midst of it, but it seems like directly after, you feel really good about how this whole process went. And you knew that this needed to come to an end, whatever it was for you. What I'm getting to... Interesting. I'm hearing prefrontal cortex. What's interesting too is that before you had completed this ending and initiated it, I'm seeing you taking time to figure out how do I want to do this. So it's not just something that may have transpired very quickly. This is something that you take time figuring out so you can be very deliberate with this. How do I want to maneuver through this process? What is the best way to do this? How can I be most effective when I'm doing this? And it feels like that's also what leads to the success here for you. And it's really setting you up also to be successful with this next chapter that you're stepping into. I'm seeing you also feel very happy too with the sun. The sun represents a sense of clarity and a sense of feeling very happy, and like you're also openly expressing yourself and you feel like yourself and you're feeling more comfortable in your skin and it feels very authentic to you. And that could have also been something that you were struggling with before. Maybe there had been something that you were hiding. I'm getting like all of these different scenarios. So whatever the Ten of Swords is for you may be like different for everybody else. This may be the variable within the reading. But for some of you, there could have been something that you were carrying on that was coming from a place of fear. Absolutely can be. Where like maybe there was something authentic to you that you wanted to be doing, but you felt like you couldn't for some reason, or like you needed to hide something, or you couldn't be open with something, or you were carrying on a relationship with someone that didn't feel healthy any longer. There was like a lie that you were telling yourself or something like that, or like a pattern that you wanted to get out of. It can be so many things. And at the end of the day, you would recognize this and see it as something that's stymieing your growth in some way. And so understanding, hey, I need to end this. And yeah, there's a big focus here on this being something out of fear. And this can even be you putting yourself in spaces where, rather than taking responsibility, you were like blaming other people or what have you. So many different things. Or not setting boundaries and then being angry with other people for crossing them when you weren't like showing up for yourself in a way that was necessary, in a way that you were meant to. So it would have been some sort of cycle that felt painful, and that even though it may have been difficult to break away from or break out of, once you get out on the other side of this, there's such a big sense of relief. And to also have the sun on the other side, this would have been something that you come out on the other side and you're like, I can't believe that it took me this long to actually do this, because I feel so much better. I feel so much more like myself. I feel like I'm showing up for myself. I feel like I'm really expressing who I am authentically, and I just feel happy about that. So there's a lot of this, like, really strengthening your relationship with yourself here through this process, and really like making this about you in a way that feels very warm and enjoyable. Seeing you also feel very good about whatever this was that ended. I'm seeing you feel very, very good about this. Feeling like this was a struggle for you and this was something that was difficult, and feeling really proud of yourself for being able to accomplish this. Interesting. So this whole cycle has been about you initiating action, which a recognition of you being responsible would be the first step to this. Because if you're not seeing your power within a situation, if you're not seeing your responsibility, then you are not going to realize, oh, it's me that's supposed to be doing something here. You're going to think like it's somebody else. Like, this person needs to stop doing this, or they should have known better, like whatever it is. So this is a moment of you recognizing, hey, I'm the one that's in the driver's seat. So if I have a problem with something, or if I don't like something, it's my responsibility to do something about it, because I'm the one with the issue. It's not that other person's responsibility. So this feels like a really big moment. And then once you realize that, and it seems like you've now come to this conclusion, oh, I'm the one that needs to do something here. I'm the one that needs to initiate here. And then it allows you to see that you have the power to make a choice, to make a decision. And this could have been something that for a long time, maybe you didn't want to see this. Because with the Two of Swords, and the Two of Swords having the blindfold on, can be a decision that, like, you're meant to be doing something about it, but you kind of don't want to see it. Like, maybe if I keep my eyes shut, I won't have to do anything about this. I can kind of keep putting it off. And you could have been waiting and waiting and waiting and not doing anything. And then finally you get to a place where you're like, why am I not making this decision yet? Why am I not taking action yet? And I'm seeing, it looks like as soon as you do something about this, you're successful with it. Because the Chariot is here. So it may have even been a challenge to see that it was your responsibility to make a choice here. I'm hearing small victories, little victories. Yes, the Empress. This is making so much sense. To have the Sun next to the Empress here, this feels like you really stepping up and shining and giving off like your most authentic energy, feeling really empowered by what you're doing, feeling like you're openly expressing yourself, like there's no need to shy away or hide away, that you are like really, really standing in your power. This means, too, that if you were feeling blockages before, they're disintegrating as well, because there is a free flow here of expression and your energy, too. So you may be feeling like more inspired, more creative. You may want to be making things. You may be having like a lot more ideas, seeing the connections between things, feeling more loving towards yourself, towards other people, not shying away from how you're feeling. This also seems like it's something worth protecting to you, because I'm seeing you be in a space where you feel like you've done a lot of work to get to where you are now, and so this is something worth, I'm hearing cherishing and also protecting for you. And you may too be in a space where like you're really willing to defend why you're showing up in this way that you're showing up. I'm also seeing a notion too of you having put the lid on a box and needing to kind of like sit on that for a while to make sure that it stays shut. I don't know what exactly that's about, but I'm seeing the imagery here. It has to do with whatever ending this was, just to make sure that it stays, that box stays shut. Maybe to make sure that that ending really stays an ending and doesn't come back to life. Seems like you're not going to have to sit on that box for long to keep the lid shut. I'm also seeing that you're moving towards an opportunity as well. This seems like something physically that's going to be manifesting for you. All right, so this chapter has been about taking action, recognizing your responsibility and taking action. So seeing yourself as somebody capable, as somebody who has an impact, as somebody who is responsible for their life and the decisions, and also understanding that like when you make a choice, it is going to lead you to a particular outcome. So even if you're passive, that's just as much of a choice as being active within a situation. And it's all about how you maneuver through. This has also been a chapter that's been focused on patience and you working through. With temperance, temperance is, I'm hearing a virtue. It's not going to give up easily. When we are channeling the energy of temperance, it's about like working on something until we figure it out, no matter how long it takes us to do that. Being patient with the process. Temperance is alchemy. So in whatever situation this has been for you, which feels very much associated with you initiating things within your life and understanding how you are the painter of this picture, it's allowed you to bring more joy and fulfillment and happiness, and also for you to see all of the love and connection that you have in your life. For some of you too, there's something about like wanting to express your love, wanting to express your connection. This can also tie into abilities that you have that you want to be expressing as well. To have the Ace of Cups and the Two of Pentacles and also the Empress here, there may be a creative project that you're working on. This can also be expressed through a relationship that you're developing too. To also have the star leading out of this spread, this means that you are feeling very in touch with your purpose and with your journey, and so you're seeing very clearly. It's kind of like when you're in the midst of this situation, it may have been very difficult for you to see like what pieces needed to change or move, or like what we needed to grow out of or even bring light to. And now, because there's this rising above and being able to look down upon it, you can see very easily like which pieces need to go where and what you're meant to be doing, what needs to come to an end, what you want to be starting, where you want to be going, all of that. And so I'm seeing something become very obvious to you, very clear to you, like this is part of my path, this is part of my journey, this is authentic to me, this is in alignment versus what's not. And that feeling very, very obvious. So we are looking at Sagittarius, Aquarius, Saturn, Cancer, the Sun, and Venus. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for connecting. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.